Aleks.tourist, and welcome to our deep dive. Right off the bat, I want to make one thing completely clear for you today.
Oh yeah, the ground rules.
Right. Today is a strictly politics-free zone. We are leaving all of that at the door entirely and just focusing on culture, history, and travel.
Exactly, just the good stuff.
Yeah, because today we are taking you to a place that, frankly, it feels like a well-kept secret. We're looking at the region of Murcia in southeastern Spain.
It really is such a fascinating spot on the Mediterranean coast. I mean,
Yeah.
for a traveler, it constantly gets overshadowed by its famous neighbors.
Like Andalusia and Valencia.
Yeah, Andalusia to the west and Valencia to the north. But, because it isn't completely overrun with tourists, it has maintained this incredibly dense, layered identity.
It's so true. And to build this deep dive, we pulled from a big stack of sources. We've got the official Murcia region tourist site, travel guides from Jet2Blog and Travander, and a really detailed 3-day itinerary from Revigorate.
A lot of great ground-level research in those.
Yeah, and our mission here, it's basically to bypass those glossy, generalized tourist brochures and give you a curated insider's blueprint to Murcia.
We want to show you why this single region offers, well, the perfect balance.
Yeah.
You've got untouched beaches, 3,000 years of hidden history, and, an unforgettable nightlife.
And the contrasts are just wild. I mean, picture this. You can spend your afternoon watching wild flamingos in a pink salt lake.
Which is amazing on its own.
Right. And then that very same night, you can be choosing from 900 different gins in a bar that's styled exactly like the London Underground.
It's an intense contrast. But to understand how a place like that exists, you really have to start the journey where Murcia's story actually begins.
You mean its deep physical history?
Exactly. Before we hit the beaches or the bars, we need to understand the ground you're walking on because, well, the ground there is a literal timeline.
Yeah, it's just layered.
It is. If we look at the broader picture of Mediterranean history, Murcia functions as a geographic bottleneck. You had Phoenicians, Romans, Arabs, Christians.
Basically everyone.
Right, they all came through here because of the strategic coastline.
Yeah.
And they didn't just pass by, they built over one another.
Which brings us to Cartagena.
Yes. Nowhere is that architectural recycling more dramatically illustrated than in the port city of Cartagena.
I am so glad you brought up Cartagena because there is a Roman theater right in the city center. And when I say massive, I mean a 6,000-seat amphitheater built by Emperor Augustus in the 1st century BC.
It's a complete architectural marvel.
But it is. But the part that I cannot wrap my head around is that it was completely buried and lost until it was accidentally discovered in 1987.
Right, and not fully excavated until 1990.
Yeah. Like, how do you misplace a 6,000-seat stadium for 20 centuries? It's like finding a literal coliseum buried in your own backyard while trying to plant a garden.
Ah, well, it sounds impossible when you picture a modern stadium.
Yeah.
But you have to think about urban evolution, not in decades, but in millennia.
Okay, so a much longer timeline.
Right. As the Roman Empire declined, the theater was eventually abandoned. And over the centuries, subsequent civilizations like the Byzantines, Islamic rulers, and later Christians, they didn't view those ruins as a museum piece,
What did they view it as?
a quarry. They basically took the stones to build new walls. They filled in the gaps with dirt and debris to level the ground.
Oh, wow. Just paved right over it.
Exactly. Eventually, entire neighborhoods, including a cathedral and a palace, were built directly over the ancient seating area. The residents of Cartagena have been walking over an immense Roman monument for 2,000 years without a clue.
That is just astonishing. And the hidden history isn't just buried under the dirt, it's buried under the water, too.
Oh, the underwater archaeology.
Yeah, our sources highlighted the RQUA, the National Museum of Underwater Archaeology in Cartagena. They house this collection from a sunken frigate called the Nuestra Señora de la Mercedes.
It's a massive collection.
Yeah, they recovered exactly 570,000 gold and silver coins from the seabed, over 500,000 coins.
The sheer weight and volume of that treasure is just staggering. But, what is truly valuable is the context.
Right, the history behind the gold.
Exactly. The museum doesn't just show off the shiny stuff. It uses those underwater discoveries to explain Murcia's historical role as a massive naval hub.
Because of the bay.
Yeah, Cartagena's port is a deep, naturally protected bay, so it's always been a strategic gateway for the Spanish Armada and international trade, which brought immense wealth to the region.
And you definitely see that wealth reflected when you move inland to the capital, Murcia city. I mean, the Cathedral of Murcia has this spectacular Baroque facade that just towers over the plaza.
It's gorgeous.
It really is. And hidden inside, which is a little morbid but fascinating, is an urn containing the actual heart of King Alfonso X El Sabio. Just his heart.
Yeah, a very distinct historical relic.
Totally. And right nearby is the Teatro Romea, which is 160 years old.
Yeah.
It has busts of Beethoven, Mozart, and Liszt, and it survived multiple 19th century fires.
Which is pretty rare for theaters of that era.
Right. The sources mention that during a renovation in 1985, they pioneered theater restoration techniques that were copied all over Spain. But what exactly did they do that was so revolutionary?
Well, before the 1980s, restoring a historical theater often meant ripping out the old flammable materials and replacing them with modern, acoustically dead materials.
Oh, so you lose the whole sound of the room.
Exactly. But the team at Teatro Romea, they developed new chemical fire retardant treatments for the original historical wood and textiles.
So they saved the original materials.
Yeah. They managed to bring a 19th century building up to modern safety codes without sacrificing the original acoustic resonance or the aesthetic integrity. It basically became the gold standard for preservation in Spain.
That reverence for preservation pops up everywhere. Take the town of Lorca, for instance. It's crowned by this immense medieval castle called the Fortress of the Sun.
Such a powerful name.
Right. And inside that fortress complex, there is a 15th century Jewish synagogue. Our sources pointed out that it is the only synagogue in Spain from that era that was never converted into a church.
Which is incredibly rare. It remained almost completely untouched, exactly as it was when the local Jewish community prayed there hundreds of years ago.
Just a perfect time capsule.
It is. It offers historians an incredibly rare, unfiltered look into pre-Inquisition Spanish Jewish architecture.
And we also have to talk about Caravaca de la Cruz. The sources note it is one of only 5 holy cities in the entire world granted a perpetual jubilee by the Holy See.
Right up there with Rome and Jerusalem.
Yeah. But for someone who isn't, steeped in Catholic theology, what does a perpetual jubilee practically mean for a town?
Well, in the Catholic tradition, a jubilee year is a time of universal pardon. Pilgrims can receive a plenary indulgence, which is essentially the forgiveness of sins.
Okay, got it.
Usually this happens only once every 25 years in a specific location. But a perpetual jubilee means the Pope has granted the site the permanent, ongoing ability to offer this grace.
Oh, so it happens much more often.
Yeah, usually every 7 years, indefinitely. Caravaca received this because its castle basilica houses fragments of the true cross.
So that must fundamentally change the economy and culture of the town.
Completely. That designation brings a constant, reliable flow of international pilgrims. It shapes the infrastructure, the hospitality industry, the local traditions, all of it.
Which actually brings up an interesting pivot. Because while they have this deep, solemn religious history, the way the people of Murcia express their heritage is incredibly loud and energetic.
Oh, absolutely. The contrast is striking.
Yeah, we are moving from preserved history to enacted history. You don't just look at the past here. I mean, you participate in it.
The festivals in Murcia are legendary. They reenact their history with a level of dedication you rarely see elsewhere.
Let's talk about the Caballos del Vino, or wine horses, in Caravaca on May 2nd. It's a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage event, and the imagery is wild.
It really is a sensory overload.
Thousands of people dressed in white with red scarves and these massive, majestic horses just galloping through the crowds. And the horses are wearing these heavily elaborate, hand-embroidered silk and gold cloaks.
And, those cloaks aren't just pulled out of a dusty storage closet.
No.
No. Entire families and neighborhoods in Caravaca spend the whole year hand-stitching those silk panels with new, intricate designs.
Wow, an entire year just for one day.
Yeah. The festival is actually rooted in a medieval legend where the Knights Templar broke through a Moorish siege to bring wine to the thirsty inhabitants of the castle, using horses to carry the skins.
Oh, so the galloping today is a recreation of that desperate dash.
Exactly. It's a heroic reenactment.
And then in Cartagena, every September, they have the Carthaginians and Romans Festival. The locals actually recreate the Second Punic War. We're talking ship landings, chariot races, gladiator fights.
It's basically a movie set come to life. To give you some brief context, the Second Punic War was the massive conflict in the 3rd century BC, where the Carthaginian general Hannibal famously marched elephants over the Alps.
Right, to attack Rome.
Yeah. And Cartagena, which was founded by the Carthaginians and literally translates to New Carthage, was the primary staging ground for their dominance of the Iberian Peninsula before Rome conquered it.
So the festival just immerses you in that clash.
Full-scale historical immersion.
Okay, but I have to be the skeptic here for a moment. With over 300 days of sunshine a year, it sounds like the region is just one continuous outdoor party.
I mean, they do love a good celebration.
Right. They even have a festival called the Entierro de la Sardina, the burial of the sardine. Right after Holy Week, they burn a giant papier-mâché sardine in the streets while setting off massive fireworks.
It is quite the spectacle.
But do the locals actually take the historical and cultural significance of this seriously?
Yeah.
Or is burying a fake fish just a fantastic excuse to day drink in the sunshine?
Well, it is a very fair question. But you have to understand the psychology of the Mediterranean festival.
Okay, how so?
In this culture, celebration and solemnity are not mutually exclusive. The burial of the sardine marks the end of the spring festivals. Historically, the sardine represents the fasting and austerity of Lent.
So burning it is symbolic.
Exactly. Burning it symbolically buries the hardships of the past to welcome the abundance of the new spring season.
I see. So the partying doesn't ruin the tradition, it's the vehicle for it.
Precisely. By making these historical touchstones joyous, loud, and communal, they ensure the next generation actually wants to participate. The fireworks and the wine are basically the glue that keeps the tradition alive century after century.
That makes perfect sense. And that joyous energy, it just spills right over into their everyday nightlife.
Oh yeah, the nightlife is phenomenal.
Right. When they aren't galloping horses or burning giant fish, the locals have a very sophisticated way of unwinding. The sources broke down a few spots. If you want live rock music, you head to Cellar Revolver.
A great venue.
Yeah, or if you want a traditional vibe, you pull up a chair at Las Flores Bar in the Old Quarter for tapas and a cold beer.
Or you can seek out a more atmospheric setting, like El Bosque Animado, which is a very relaxed, leafy spot covered in fairy lights right in the city center.
But the absolute showstopper in the itineraries is the Roneria and Gintoneria. This is what I teased at the very beginning.
The underground bar.
Yes. This bar has an illuminated sign outside, styled exactly like the London Underground logo. And inside, they boast 1,000 rums, 900 gins, 500 whiskeys, 300 vodkas, and 200 tequilas and mezcals.